Hey guys, welcome back to Tower of God New World. In today's video, I wanted to talk about cracking through 16-4, which is when we start having two teams that we need to build. I wanted to go through my strategy. Now, obviously, everyone's going to be different, but I wanted to go through my strategy and some tips that may help you guys along the way if you get stuck there. And the first one I want to mention is I went for Hats as my main carry, and I decided to shift away from him once I got him to Rainbow 1-star. I think a safe place to shift away from your first carry. Now, everyone's going to be different on their preferences, but for me personally, I think getting them to 4 orange star, whatever color the bloody star is on the fifth one here. So just getting to this limit break where you get the extra HP, I feel like that's enough. And then you can shift your main wish list, put this character on the secondary wish list spot, and look at your second carry. So for me, after I got him there, I shifted to Hua, and I'm really glad I did that. Now, in 200 pulls, I think I got 2 copies of Hua or something like that. So I didn't get the greatest luck on it, but at least I got the copies to at least get a couple of the constellations into it and get to the blue one. Now, obviously, if I can get 3 purple, that's fantastic, and everyone past that is going to be great. But getting your second carry is going to be very important for trying to push through these things. Now, if you do have one of these characters at 3-star, one of the SSR pluses, like an Evan Kell, even Big Mashni, Little Mashni, I'm waiting to see what Zahad can do at 3-star because he's bugged as hell is all I can say, unless I'm completely missing the point. But if you got one of those guys at 3 green stars, they can carry, like in chapter 16, pretty decently, but having 2 carries is going to be an important thing. Now, the next thing is going to be gear, and in all my early guides, I said that I don't recommend buying gear from the guild shop until you get the highest rarity of gear, which in this game is... What's going on here? It's lagging out. Which in this game is going to be the yellow gear. So I saved up all my guild points, and I've bought 3 pieces of gear. I never bought gear before the yellows came up, and I managed to buy 3 pieces of yellow gear for my hats, and that's where I've gotten his core gear from. Now, I also did get lucky, and I got 1 piece from drops, and I don't know why the game's lagging, but it is. But I got, it's not on her because I've been swapping teams around depending on the stage, because you can swap gear, which is something we'll talk about in a sec. But I lucked out and got this one from drops, and got it onto the red as well. So that's very handy for my Hua. So that's sort of where I've been at with gear, but definitely with your guild points, don't be wasting them on anything but yellow gear, because that is the highest tier gear. And once you get there, maybe you have like 90,000 saved up like I did, and then you can go ahead and like max out your main carry. Now, the next thing that we have is when we go into these stages, when you have the enemies that you have 2 battles on. Okay, we're back. I decided to quickly punch through those few stages, get to the next boss stage so I could show you the next thing that I wanted to look at. So that is the 2 teams. So what I normally do is on this team, I just grab a character that I never use, I chuck them there and let them die. Because if we look at the power of these teams, this first enemy team we fight is going to be a stronger team. The second one is going to be a weaker team. And what I try and do is win with my weaker team first. Now, this stage is 16-20, so it's got a much higher power creep than all the other earlier stages. So I'm probably going to get stuck here because we are over a 3 times deficit on this one, and we are fighting blue enemies on the weak team, which I have been beating all these blue enemies with my purple star Hua as the carry, but we might not do it this time. But the thing that I wanted to show you guys was what you want to do is you want to unequip all the gear you can and put your best sets on everyone in this team. So here we'd go something like this. We go auto equip, and there we go. We got my best gear on him. Now, what I'm going to have to do here is because the enemy has an Endorsee, I'm going to have to do this so that Endorsee attacks my Zahad and he can invincible it. So I've got to have my other highest out the back here. But then she's out of gear as well. So I've got to get my next best set of gear, which I think is currently on her. So we're going to remove that one as well, equip it to her. And we want to get all of our best gear on these characters. And I think the other 2 are pretty much set, and she has the supportive set. So get your best gear on these ones, and then I just keep retrying this. And what'll happen is you run in, this battle will lose, and then you'll go straight to this one. The reason I leave one character that I'm not going to use in there, because if I want to try something else to win my harder battle, which is the easier enemy power, but it's the harder team because it's my weaker team, I have access to all my units, and I can swap my units in as freely as I want to. And then once I get the win on this one, it'll basically just keep trying this stage, and that one will be clear. But once you've cleared this stage, you can actually yoink the gear off of them after you've already cleared it and put it back on your characters for this side. And that is the cool thing. It's a massive hack to do it. So let's just jump in and I'll show you basically what we're looking at here. So we'll just jump into this battle. We're going to absolutely slap. This one's going to take me a while to get past, I think, the dash 20 stage, but let's just see what we can do. And then I also want to talk about my exclusive equipment investment and what worked for me. I can only speak to the carries of Hats and Hua, which I find fantastic, but I'll show you the key breakpoint that really got me across the line with my Hua winning in the second team. So let's just go this. Like I said, that's easy loss. Who cares? It's just if you work on beating this one first and then you need other units in your second team, it becomes a nightmare. But yeah, so this is sort of what I do, and I get a gauge for it, think, you know, how likely am I to eventually clear this? You know, that didn't work too well. I can swap units around. I have access to my full roster to test out here. The only one I'm not going to put in this team would be my Hats, because he is going to be my main carry for the other side. Any other unit I'm happy to try and work on for this one, because then I know I can make anything work with my Hats, because he is my more invested carry. Sorry, the game just crashed there. RIP. And the one thing I wanted to mention, going back to that gear point, is the 3 pieces of gear that I prioritize are going to be 1, 2, and 3, because they give you 1 and 2 give you the accuracy, the damage. 3 gives you the evasion, which is super handy. 4 is just raw mitigation, which isn't as vital to me as the accuracy, damage, and also the evasion. So I prioritize the top 3. So because I do have, for my warrior, I do have those 3 pieces. I'm not going to worry about it for the final piece, getting that piece. And now I'm going to focus on getting my Hua, her other pieces. So I want to get her first 2 pieces on her. This one's giving you the damage, the critical strike and rate and damage. This one's giving you the attack and accuracy is very important. And then obviously this one's great because it gives you the accuracy and evasion, which are both very, very helpful stats. So those are the 3 that I do prioritize. And like I said, I want to tell you guys about the big exclusive equipment that really helped me. And literally I was stuck. I couldn't clear that second side with my Hua. Now, if I had more dupes of her, maybe it would have worked better. And once again, this isn't going to affect everyone, but make sure you check your exclusive equipment and which ones are going to be valuable to you. So basically, as soon as I got today, my Hua to level 10, it just made me clap through, like I said, 16-4 all the way to 16-20, because she got this extra shield and it was so helpful for her survivability. Now, the other thing that I'm doing with my personal exclusive equipment is the next one I'm going to is getting Hats to +20, because it allows me to block even more damage, blocking the projectiles. So it just helps him with his survival even more. So that is the next one I'm going to at 20, and that is about as far as I've looked on my account into the definite investment that I want to make, and then I'll gauge it on where I'm at, where I get stuck, and what I'm using for my next ones. But that's a basic look at my account, pushing past the barrier at 16-4, finally getting some progress. Like I said, it just takes time. You need that second carry, and once you got that second carry, make sure you work on that second team, get your weaker carry to clear that one, and then if you have a really strong carry like I do with my Hats, they can normally just clap through the first stage with, you know, you'll be able to make it up with the leftovers that you don't use on the second team. But that's pretty much it, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.